Hello everyone, today we are going to start our new chapters about the general pharmacology that start from the pharmacokinetics. The pharmacokinetics, we are going to start enzyme kinetics. The patients using the drugs are mostly worked by the inhibiting and stimulating of enzymes. The first we have to understand about the enzyme. Enzyme is a catalyst that can convert the substrates fastly into carbohydrate. The kinetics means how much quickly processes are occurring. First, we have to understand about the enzyme. For example, it is enzyme and this substrate. Every enzyme having a specific site to attach with attaching to drug and it be that's okay. So, in simply we can addition like substrate plus enzyme. The word enzyme plus that converted enzyme plus product. Fine. Here I will give you one concept like as many substrates increasing the velocity kinetic routes increasing. For example, I will make one diagram. These are one container, second container, and third container. This is an enzyme. Able, and it will be half of the maximum. The Km is equal to substrate. Then velocity will be decreased to maximum of half. Okay? And there will be one second condition. Second condition is that the Km is approximately equal to 0. Okay? And substrate is just too high. There's a high concentration of substrate. And Km is near to 0. It's approximate with 0. Then what does this equation become? This equation become velocity equals Vmax multiplied by substrate divided by Km is a 0, so we are not putting Km, and only the substrate. The substrate will cancel with substrate and answer the Vmax. So by this condition, conclude that we are going to conclude that if the value of Km is approximately 0 or very low, then velocity can be equal to x. I think that concept will be understandable for you guys. As I already told over the calculation of Km that affect the velocity of the product. Simply, this one is a diagram or the graph. They show you here. And the thing that E equals to the reaction velocity or how much mean product you are getting in how much time. Sin is the constant. This is a substrate. Here, second thing is that already I told the half of the maximum will be occur when the Km is equal to substrate. And I already told to achieve the Vmax that Km approximately 0. Okay? And secondly, if you focus on this graph, the graph is getting up. If I increase in the substrate, the slope is increasing. At one point, the slope becomes flat. When the slope is going to start flat, that point is Vmax. Okay? Saturation. And it's a saturation of enzymes. And this is a specific point. You can't change the Vmax, but the Vmax can be increased by increasing the concentration of enzymes. The Vmax will not increase by increasing the substrate. It only increases by increasing the concentration of enzymes. I think this graph is understandable for you now. What is meme is 1 by 2 Vmax. And how it is happen, again I am telling, if the Km is equal to substrate, the velocity will be half of maximum. If Km is approximately 0, then the Vmax will be high. The V equal to the Vmax. By these two statements, we can also get in one enzymes, one statement regarding the enzyme affinity. Okay? If the Km is very low, then enzyme affinity will be increases. Therefore, you are getting maximum velocity. If the concentration of Km is high on the large, then affinity of enzyme will be decreased, because you already know the velocity is getting decreased. Okay, it is Vmax half. If the affinity is high, you will get in the maximum velocity. If the affinity is low, then you get the less velocity. That is understandable. Now I will read the lines that is written. Wait. The first is a Km is the substrate concentration needed for enzyme to reach the rate of Vmax half and is inversely related to affinity of enzyme for the substrate. I already told you about this, that if the Km equals to concentration of substrate, then velocity will be half of maximum. And if the Km is high, then affinity will be decrease. Yep, so affinity with enzymes will decrease. Now we are moving to our next statements. The Vmax is directly proportional to enzyme concentration. I already told you guys, if you want to increase, if you guys want to increase the Vmax, you have to increase the concentration of enzymes. Second, most enzymatic reactions follow a hyperbolic curve. I already showed you this curve and this curve because hyperbolic curve. And it is also a statement of the Michaelis Menten kinetics. The Michaelis Menten kinetics give that the enzymatic reaction will give you a hyperbolic curve. And in a hyperbolic curve, there is a one point. There will be one point where the curve will be flattened, and that point will be Vmax. And Vmax is only changed if you increase the concentration of enzymes. However, enzymatic reactions that exhibit a sigmoid curve usually indicate positive cooperative in substrate binding, like aspartate transcarbamylates. In these days, a sigmoid curve like that, and they will give a positive failures. Now, secondly, from the